everyone, happy Friday! Today we're going to finish our last background building text. So we're going to keep learning more about the ocean. Today it's called Exploring the Ocean. So while I'm reading, I want you to think about a super fact that you could write after the video. People have only explored a tiny part of the Earth's ocean. Scientists called oceanographers. Can you say oceanographer? Yeah, those are people that are eager to explore underwater ecosystems. But working in the underwater environment is challenging. What do you think humans need to survive that we don't have underwater? I'll give you a hint. It's what we breathe. Yeah, they need oxygen. There's no oxygen underwater. Have you ever tried to breathe when you were underwater? You can't do it. So it's tricky to be a scientist and study underwater. The one problems humans face underwater is not having air to breathe, just like in space. Many ocean animals get oxygen from water using their gills. Their gills, you see a blue arrow right here? They're the little slits on the side of the animal. But humans, do we have gills in our neck? Nope. So we can only breathe air. Another problem is the extreme cold. Humans cannot survive the freezing cold temperatures of the twilight and midnight zones like the animals who live there. Remember, the twilight and midnight zones are when we dive down and it starts getting dark in the ocean. That's the twilight zone. And when we get down to the part that's pitch black and we can't see anything, that's the midnight zone. So, engineers have developed suits and vehicles so people can explore underwater. These will keep people safe and warm and provide them oxygen, similar to what explorers need in outer space. So, right here is our space or astronaut, where we know they have a suit that keeps them cold or warm, and then they can breathe. Here is what the astronaut, or what the scuba diver suit looks like, and that's going to help them go underwater. So people need different equipment to explore the different ocean zones. So in the sunlight zone, you need something. In the twilight zone, you might need something different. And then in the midnight zone, you're going to need something totally different to help you study. So the sunlight zone is the easiest to explore. We only need a few pieces of equipment because it's so close to the surface of the water. The surface is the top of the water. Have you ever opened your eyes in the bathtub or when you were swimming in a pool? Yeah, everything looks kind of blurry, right? So you need goggles. Goggles keep our eyes dry so we can see clearly underwater. People who want to observe the ocean life also have another problem. Underwater, we can only hold our breath for a few seconds before we have to lift our heads up above the water and breathe. So, to solve this problem, engineers designed a snorkel. Can you say snorkel? Look at this. This is a picture of a snorkel. Does that remind you of a ninja tool? Yeah, they look like the ninja bamboo things that they use underwater. So, a snorkel is like a big straw. The top of the tube sticks out above the water and it connects to a mouthpiece, letting the person breathe underwater. So, this guy has the piece in his mouth and his tube goes all the way up to the top of the water and he can breathe all the air and suck it into his mouth. So when people want to explore farther below the ocean than a snorkel tube can reach, because a snorkel tube's only like this big, so you can't go down very deep. So when you want to go down deeper, they have to bring their own oxygen with them, just like an astronaut does in outer space. So air tanks also allow oceanographers to spend more time underwater. Here's a drawing on the side of an air tank, and the guy right here, he has one on his back. It's the silver looking thing. So, swimming while wearing a heavy air tank is not easy. Human feet aren't well suited to move in the water because we mostly live on land. So, ocean explorers need engineers to design something that will help them swim underwater easier. Does anyone have a guess what that might be? Let's find out. Engineers looked at the way water animals use their tail fins or webbed feet to move. Their solution was to give divers something that made their feet work more like a duck or a fish. It's called swimming fins. So here's a picture right here of the swimming fins. This guy has it on. And these swimming fins are so similar to the fin of this fish or to the webbed feet of this duck. So the deeper you go in the ocean, the colder the water gets. Divers need a way to stay warm in the cold water. Wetsuits are a special suit that help keep divers warm and dry. It protects their skin from scratches and it helps them to float. Oceanographers wanted to explore the ocean's twilight and midnight zones, but wetsuits didn't provide enough protection. The deeper we go, the more the water's weight presses on our body. The pressure makes exploring the twilight zone in a wetsuit unsafe. So the wetsuit works great when you're up high in the water, in the shallow parts, but when you go down really deep, it doesn't work so well. So, to solve the problem, engineers designed dive suits made out of hard material to protect divers from water pressure. This allowed them to explore deep in the ocean. Wow, I think they really look like astronauts here. Engineers also invented submersibles. These are underwater vehicles that take oceanographers down into the twilight or midnight zone. I've called these submarines before, not a submersible. What do you notice about this submarine? That looks pretty cool. Would you want to go in a submarine? I think I would. So, submersibles are made of sturdy material that do not break under the heavy water pressure. They're filled with oxygen for breathing. They also have cameras so oceanographers can take pictures and radio communication so the crew under the water can talk to the crew that's on a big boat on top of the water. That's pretty clever. Engineers have also designed remotely operated vehicles. These are called ROVs for ocean exploration. These ROVs do not have any people inside. So a submarine has a person inside, an ROV does not. They are controlled by people on a ship. So here's the ship right here, and the people are all up here, and they're controlling this ROV down here. ROVs are able to explore parts of the ocean that are difficult or dangerous for people to go to. Do you remember an area in space that humans can't go to yet, but we've sent rovers there? I'll give you a hint. It's another planet. Starts with an M. Mars. ROVs let scientists discover animals deep in the midnight zone. Animals we didn't even know existed. Check out some of these animals. Those are crazy. We haven't seen any animals like that yet. Look at some of the amazing life under the ocean that engineers have helped scientists discover. We wouldn't know these wonderful plants and animals existed if engineers hadn't invented ways to get to the deeper layers of the ocean. Imagine how much more we're going to learn about the ocean ecosystem as we keep on engineering and exploring. What would you want to explore the ocean? What invention or tool might you use? Would you want to be a scuba diver with your fins? Would you want to use your snorkel and stay up in the sunlight zone? Would you want to get in a submarine and go deep down? All right, sweet friends, now it's time for you to write your own fact. So let's review our glossary to help us think of some words that we practice and that might be useful for us to use in our summary today. A diver. What do you remember about a diver? Yeah, a diver has an oxygen tank on their back and they can go down deep into the ocean. What about an ROV? Does it look like it's down deep in the ocean? Yeah. Is there a human in there? No, only the submarine has a human. Speaking of a submarine, There's a picture of it. This is where a human's in one. In the ROV, there's no human. What about fins? Why are fins important? Yeah, fins help us swim, just like a duck's feet help them swim. What about a diving suit? Why is that important? It helps divers do what? Stay warm. The water gets so cold down in the midnight zone or the twilight zone, and they need a diving suit to help them. What about goggles? What do goggles help you do? They help you see. The water's blurry if you don't have goggles. What about a snorkel? Yeah, a snorkel helps you breathe. Can you go down really, really deep in the ocean with a snorkel? No, the tube has to stay above the water, just like this guy, so you can't go down very deep. An oceanographer. What does an oceanographer study? The ocean. Good. And a wetsuit. What's a wetsuit for? To keep you warm. Nice job, you guys. So think about your super fact. Once you've got your super fact in your brain, I want you to go to the next writing video to see what's expected for you to do today during writing time.